I won't hold my breath, and best of luck to them if one chooses to stand up. They are enjoying their lowest approval rating ever because this is who they are trying to represent. These far-left activists who don't stand for anything. They only stand against Donald Trump, and they hate, as you just heard from that one individual who wished death upon the president of the United States, they not just hate him, they hate the nearly 80 million Americans who elected to vote him. The Democrats have officially become the party of crazy. President Trump and the Republicans are the party of common sense.
Karoline Leavitt, the rising GOP star and White House press secretary, didn't just file a lawsuit against The View. She dropped an $800 million legal nuke that turned their daytime dynasty to rubble. This wasn't a petty grievance or a social media spat. It was a meticulously crafted warhead of justice, launched with the precision of a missile strike. The verdict landed like a seismic shockwave, rattling studio sets and shattering 1 million coffee mugs in synchronized despair across America.
I won't hold my breath, and best of luck to them if one chooses to stand up. They are enjoying their lowest approval rating ever because this is who they are trying to represent. These far-left activists who don't stand for anything. They only stand against Donald Trump, and they hate, as you just heard from that one individual who wished death upon the president of the United States. They not just hate him, they hate the nearly 80 million Americans who elected to vote him. The Democrats have officially become the party of crazy. President Trump and the Republicans are the party of common sense.
The figure, $800 million, wasn't just a payout. It was a cultural annihilation, a reckoning for years of The View's reckless, sanctimonious broadcasting. Picture the scene. Producers frozen, hosts gobsmacked as the courtroom gavel slammed down like Thor's hammer. This wasn't litigation, it was a televised Armageddon. Fact check. No such lawsuit exists. Claims stem from AI-generated YouTube videos, e.g. Agenda Insight, April 1, 2025 with 166,000 views, and viral X posts, e.g. Amaga Republic 74, has debunked as misinformation. The narrative thrives on conservative frustration with The View's left-leaning rhetoric, but no legal filing or court record supports this saga. For decades, The View strutted as daytime TV's moral arbiter, cloaking gossip in glitter and serving slander with a side of sisterhood. Their studio was an echo chamber where truth was optional, and hot takes were slung like shade missiles, cheered by an audience clapping like trained seals. They turned political discourse into emotional karaoke, loud, off-key, and painfully overproduced. But Leavitt's lawsuit wasn't a gentle nudge. It was a sledgehammer to their studio floor, exposing years of reckless commentary.
The episode of you when you're on The View, when you were running for president, you got introduced as our friend Donald Trump.
But does he really want to add President of the United States to his resume? A lot of people would like him to. Please, let's find out, and please welcome my friend, Donald Trump.
That's right. Whoopi Goldberg gives you a big hug and a kiss. Joy Behar gives you a big hug. Barbara Walters gives you a big hug. And then you actually started winning in the polls, and then the machine started working towards you.
That red hat that says "Make America Great Again." Might as well just put a sticker on that.
Hosts like Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar, once untouchable queens of snark, faced a reckoning for likening figures like Donald Trump to Hitler and mocking conservatives with zero accountability. The $800 million verdict was a billboard-sized warning. Words have consequences, and the bill just came due. Context: The View's polarizing style, left-leaning, often inflammatory, has drawn ire from conservatives, as seen in X posts calling it a rabies-infested henhouse. No lawsuit exists, but the show's history of controversial statements fuels this fictional narrative. Enter Joe Rogan, podcast king and verbal WWE champion, storming the scene with a mic hotter than a Texas summer. He didn't show up to mediate, he came to eviscerate. His podcast studio transformed into a gladiator arena, where he dismantled The View's hypocrisy with sniper-like precision.
I get it. I also hate Joy Behar, so I don't love you, but I also hate that squawking bird, so I hate the whole thing. And frankly, that show, you want to talk about a show that set women back, is The View. You want to talk about that show? If the CIA is engineering, Antifa and fucking the Capitol riot, some crazy misogynist engineered The View, because there's nothing worse than The View. In terms of, like, there are so many brilliant women out there. None of them are on The View. None of them have gone near the set of The View. I mean, they have brought in the lowest tier of the, what is it, the Y chromosome?
No, double
X.
Okay. Double X.
They brought in the lowest of the double X's for that one. It's rough.
And Rogan, with his 17.3 million YouTube subscribers and 14.5 million Spotify followers, wielded a cultural flamethrower, calling out the show's sanctimonious posturing. "This isn't a talk show," he roared. "It's a therapy circle that lost the plot." His words cut through their veneer, leaving no survivors, only a trail of scorched egos and viral sound bites. Reality. Rogan never commented on a Leavitt lawsuit as it's fictional. However, his real critiques, like mocking Joy Behar's 2024 claim that he believes in dragons, align with this narrative. His podcast, e.g., episode with Behar's Jab, has long targeted The View's ideological bubble, making him a natural figure in this tale. The View made a fatal mistake. They underestimated Karoline Leavitt, dismissing her as a punchline in their daytime drama circus. They painted her as a cartoon villain, tossing her name around like confetti at a cheap Vegas lounge act. Her reputation was twisted, mocked, and served to their audience with a smirk. But Leavitt wasn't just another target. She was a quiet storm, collecting receipts while they laughed. Their hubris, dressed in sequins and fueled by applause, blinded them to the legal grenade she was priming. When she clapped back, it wasn't with a tweet or a guest spot. It was with a lawsuit that turned their studio into a legal minefield.
The culture shift between right and left authoritarianism, and now people don't recognize that if you just stopped looking at it in terms of red and blue, look at the actions, whether it's war, suppression of free speech, pharmacological interventions that are mandatory, whatever it is, that used to all be associated with the authoritative right, the authoritarian right, and now those things are being embraced by the left. And I just think it's just an ideology thing. And I think we get confused and we think we're on the right side. We're on the right side. And if it's our side that's saying this, for sure that's the right thing to do. And no one's critically thinking about it.
Clarification. Leavitt, a former congressional candidate and Trump administration figure, never sued The View. The narrative draws from her public profile and GOP support, amplified by X posts confusing her with Pam Bondi in similar fake lawsuit claims. The courtroom was a battlefield, and Leavitt's legal team came armed with receipts so airtight they made The View's research look like a middle schooler's book report. Every false claim, every slanderous jab was dissected with forensic precision. The host's legal squad, they looked like they'd been through a mental blender, gray-faced, glazed-eyed, and utterly lost, as if they'd forgotten what year it was. Leavitt's case wasn't just a win. It was a cultural detonation, exposing The View's dodgeball-like approach to facts. The $800 million verdict wasn't just a number. It was a guillotine for their credibility, slicing through years of unchecked arrogance. Fact: no trial occurred. The story originates from fabricated YouTube videos, e.g. Magnet TV Genius Data, April 19, 2025, and lacks court records or credible sources. Picture Joe Rogan in his Austin studio, mid-rant, nearly choking on elk jerky from laughing so hard it shook the room. His podcast became a cultural crematorium, incinerating The View's smugness with a wheezy, triumphant, "I told you so." He called the show a rabies-infested henhouse, a breeding ground for bad takes that spread faster than mold in a leaky basement. His monologue wasn't just commentary, it was comedy surgery, slicing through their sanctimony with scalpel-sharp punchlines. "This isn't journalism," he roared. "It's a magic 8-ball on a hangover." The internet erupted, clipping his rants into viral gold. Context: Rogan's real 2024 critiques, e.g. mocking Behar's dragons comment, fuel this narrative, but no lawsuit-specific rant exists. His 52 million view Trump interview shows his cultural clout. The verdict vaporized The View's smugness like a sandcastle in a tsunami. Their moral high ground? Evacuated faster than a sinking ship. The self-righteous applause that once echoed through their studio? Muted by the thunder of legal documents. Suddenly, the queens of daytime judgment weren't dishing takes. They were defendants, scrambling to salvage their shattered crown. The $800 million price tag wasn't just financial, it was a public stripping of their untouchable aura, leaving them exposed as mere mortals in designer heels.
This is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. So she by saying we should trust them because they're double checked by ABC News, and then making the stupidest fucking statement. Like you didn't listen to what I said.
Yeah.
You didn't listen to what the wildlife biologist, and that's only a part of what he said.
I can't
the
believe
other
Joy
part of what he
Behar
said
didn't
was
weigh.
there was something before that where he was explaining encounters with giant reptiles. And then there's also, listen,
It doesn't make sense to me that a middle-aged woman could be dumb.
when you're worried about losing your job and
Yeah.
you're worried about podcasts taking over and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us and he won, and this is fucking great, and Joe Rogan believes in dragons. It's just frantic. It's foolish.
The View continues broadcasting with no documented legal collapse. The narrative reflects conservative fantasies of humbling the show's liberal hosts. Rogan didn't just mock The View. He roasted their entire formula like a chef torching a bad souffle. He dragged their reheated outrage, their pre-programmed applause, their panels of wine moms misreading Wikipedia like it's scripture. This isn't discourse, he scoffed. It's a scripted meltdown masquerading as insight. His podcast became an all-you-can-laugh buffet, serving The View's legal meltdown with a side of savage wit. Every jab was a cultural autopsy, exposing their ego-driven empire. Fact, Rogan's real critiques, e.g., calling The View's hosts the lowest tier in 2024, align with this, but no lawsuit commentary is verified. Nobody saw Karoline Leavitt coming. Not the media, not The View's overpaid legal crew, not even their audience of clapping seals. They thought she was just another conservative to clown, a meme to mock. Big mistake. Leavitt wasn't a punchline. She was a legal assassin, swinging with a stack of receipts taller than the show's makeup budget. Her $800 million lawsuit wasn't just a win. It was a game changer, proving the quiet ones hit hardest. She turned their hit piece into a legal grenade, pin-pulled, fuse-lit. Clarification, Leavitt's real battles, e.g., dismissing an AP lawsuit in 2025, are unrelated to The View. The narrative thrives on her GOP prominence. Leavitt's fictional victory wasn't just a payout, it was case law, a blazing neon sign in the media playbook.
Is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in, you know, and they always bring on a token conservative woman and they yell over her and silence her, and you know they did that with Meghan McCain, and they did that with the what is that other blonde woman from Survivor? Do you remember her, Jamie? She was always yelling. I mean, it's just it's a bizarre show.
So we had 8 minutes, and America's approach to race, pretty big topic, pretty important topic.
I think the way you before you start, I think the way you described it is brilliant, and the way we should all look at it. Of course, you're going to see race. The idea of being colorblind is ridiculous, but treat everybody. They're just human beings.
Yeah, that's...
Sass doesn't excuse slander. Legal departments across TV land went into panic mode, whispering, "Wait, how many times did we call someone a national threat last year?" The $800 million verdict sent aftershocks through every studio, forcing networks to rethink their hot take culture. This wasn't a fluke. It was a warning that words aren't free when they torch reputations. Context: defamation lawsuits, e.g., Dominion versus Fox News 2023, highlight media risks, but no Leavitt case exists. The internet exploded like a digital 4th of July. X timelines flooded with memes. Leavitt slapping an $800 million Uno reverse card. The View repackaged as a court TV drama. Parody skits went viral, with slow-motion zooms of the hosts' stunned faces, dramatic violin swells, and courtroom gavel sound effects straight out of a crime documentary. One post nailed it. She took their views and made them pay-per-view. the scandal became a snack pack for meme lords, devoured across platforms. Reality. X posts, e.g., Adipya Much, spread the fake lawsuit, amplifying misinformation via viral engagement. Rogan's rants landed like Mortal Kombat finishers. Fatality, misinformation edition. He narrated the View's downfall like a wildlife expert on a documentary. When egos go extinct. They're not journalists, he scoffed. They're a clown car with better lighting. His punchlines were surgical, his delivery a masterclass in cultural karma. Every sentence was a knockout, leaving the internet chanting for an encore. Fact. Rogan's real critiques focus on The View's ideology, not a lawsuit, but his 2024 Behar roast fits this vibe. Post-verdict, The View went silent, an eerie void for a show built on non-stop chatter. No spicy clapbacks, no bold defenses, just crickets echoing through their studio. The queens of monologues and shade grenades were gagged by their own PR blackout. Their reputation balloons hissed into oblivion, deflated by the weight of legal defeat. The silence wasn't just awkward, it was louder than any hot take they'd ever lobbed. Reality. The show hasn't addressed a lawsuit as it's fictional, but their silence in past controversies fuels this imagery. Behind the scenes, The View's producers were in meltdown mode, running every script past a legal team with PTSD from the verdict. Hot takes now came with a lawyer hovering, whispering, "Rephrase that, or it's another $100 million. The studio became a pressure cooker, where every word was a potential landmine. Daytime drama met real-world consequences, and no laugh track could save them. Context. Networks like ABC face legal scrutiny for controversial content, but no Leavitt-related panic is documented. Advertisers fled The View like shoppers at a Black Friday stampede, in reverse. Morning coffee brands ghosted, wellness companies vanished faster than common sense during a hot take. The commercial breaks? Now a sad parade of foot fungus cream and knockoff cat food ads. The show wasn't just bleeding money, it was hemorrhaging dignity, a toxic PR hazard no brand wanted to touch. Fact. No sponsor exodus is tied to Leavitt. Past boycotts, e.g. Bud Light 2023, show how brands dodge controversy, but this is fictional. The audience started thinking. A miracle for The View's loyal, clap-happy crowd. Questions bubbled up. Did they really say that live? Is this news or unscripted rage improv? Viewership tanked like a bad stock, credibility shattered like a dropped iPhone on concrete. People weren't just watching, they were archiving the collapse, turning on the show they once cheered. Context. Declining trust in legacy media, e.g. 2024 polls showing podcast preference, fuels this narrative, but no viewership drop is confirmed. X became a chaotic highlight reel of The View's fictional downfall. Memes showed Leavitt's courtroom finesse next to the host's meltdowns, with captions like, "Wheel of Misfortune, Defamation Edition." One viral edit had the panel spinning a legal bingo wheel, landing on $800 million oops. Another genius photoshopped them into a crime doc, complete with gavel slams and guilty zooms. The internet wasn't laughing, it was curating a cultural obituary. Reality. Memes on X amplify the fake lawsuit, driven by algorithmic outrage. Leavitt's victory wasn't just a lawsuit, it was a cultural shockwave, a war horn for accountability. It screamed, your status doesn't make you untouchable. Smugness isn't a shield, it's a target. The $800 million price tag was a bargain for flipping the media script, putting every hot take factory on notice. This wasn't a headline, it was a reprogramming of the system, a line in the sand drawn with legal ink. Fact, the cultural critique resonates, but the lawsuit is a fiction born from media distrust. While The View drowned in its echo chamber, Joe Rogan, clowned for elk meat and alien talk, emerged as the voice of reason. His podcast thrives on debate, dissent, and raw chaos, not scripted nods. With 17.3 million YouTube subscribers, he's outpacing legacy media, proving credibility comes from transparency, not airtime. Rogan's mic is a revolution, challenging the monologues of wine mom panels. Context. Rogan's 2024 Trump interview, 52 million views, and Behar feud highlight his cultural sway. The View thought they were serving truth to power, but they ended up the warm-up act at their own public roast. Leavitt didn't just win, she dismantled their soapbox piece by smug piece. Rogan, still laughing, handed her a cultural championship belt, his smirk a reminder. Empires built on gossip and arrogance fall hard. The $800 million verdict wasn't just justice, it was karma, a curtain call for daytime TV's reckoning. Conclusion: this saga is fictional, but its viral spread on X and YouTube mirrors a real hunger for media accountability.